Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening. It's Sheila and Fred with Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures and FS Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Got a interesting video here.
Mm-hmm.
In the background there's Kentucky State Police. Now this was about 6 or 7 years ago, and the trooper right behind Sheila there, the tall trooper, is Alex Payne, and the guy in the suit with the glasses next to him is Rick Sanders.
Do you know this dude?
No, Rick Sanders was the commissioner of state police at the time they created this unit, this name, Critical Incidents Response Team. This is the group that created the investigators to go around to different cities, sheriff's departments, whatever, and investigate shootings and critical incidents where the agency didn't have to investigate themselves. Let the state police step in and investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll look much better. You won't be investigating yourselves, and we'll do it for you. Well, they're doing it, but there's so many shootings nowadays. For some reason, police officers and times have changed. Times have gotten rough too, but I put it on a video I did a while ago on Fred McCoy 40 on my channel. Police officers have become shooters instead of fighters or negotiators. It's just easier to shoot, it seems like. And like I say, whether you may be justified, just because we're justified in taking somebody's life doesn't mean we're required to do it. If we can go to less lethal or some other form of defense. Sheila's going to play the video here. What you got on this topic here so far? I always just go straight to the video, and I don't give you time to talk.
What's it about? It's about the critical team there and Alex.
And
Mr.
about
Alex
London,
Payne.
how this relates to London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is going to relate to all you people in Laurel County. This is going to relate when you're asking, why is it taking so long? Why are they doing this? Well, that's this is why. First of all, they've taken on more than they can chew, probably, in order to be the big dogs. And that leaves either patrol areas not to be covered in the 120 counties around Kentucky, or do we hire more people just to do this, or do the counties and cities take their investigations back and do it themselves? Whatever happened to honesty with everybody? And I'll get on it here in a minute, but I'd like to ask, you're going to see at the end of this video, that's the old, Rick Sanders is the old commissioner. The new commissioner is, no, he's not the back of the video.
Oh, okay.
Philip Barnett Jr.
No, I thought that's Rick Sanders, though, right?
Yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. We'd like for Philip Barnett Jr., the commissioner of state police, to reopen the Johnny Edrington case. We'll go ahead and mention it now, but it's going to come up at the back of the video. We need everybody to start calling, emailing, texting Kentucky State Police. Open the Johnny Edrington case. Find out, was it a S side or was it a homicide? One way or the other. Let's solve that case. Sheila and I now believe it's a homicide.
Yeah.
All right, you go ahead and play that video if you want.
Okay, here we go.
This is about shootings. Investigating shootings.
They're the team called in when an officer takes a life. A special unit in Kentucky State Police now investigating almost all lethal force cases in the Commonwealth.
But with police shootings on the rise, some lawmakers now question whether KSP can and should do that job. WDRB's Gilbert Corsi investigates the long wait for answers.
Stop! Stop!
The days after a fatal police shooting in Kentucky can often look similar.
We want to know! This ain't right! They are killing us!
Questions and doubt follow the initial police statement.
Suspect became violent toward the officer. An altercation ensued that resulted in the officer discharging his firearm.
And the promise
every piece of evidence should be considered
to thoroughly investigate
They're taking a tremendous amount of time to review these cases. I don't believe it's being handled efficiently, prudently, certainly not timely.
At that point, that individual brandished a firearm and officers discharged their weapons.
Eventually, the story fades from the headlines, and the full details of that thorough investigation rarely come to light, leaving families
They don't even have basic questions answered.
in the dark,
It affects me because
wondering and worrying.
why wait so long?
Months, sometimes years,
Get justice, I'll be okay.
about what happened to their loved one.
The coroner said he was in an altercation with a cop, and he's dead.
Christopher Starewski's family knows the pain all too well. According to Kentucky State Police, Elizabethtown officer Dietrich Cooper shot and killed the 28-year-old Radcliffe man in December of 2021 at the Lake Crest Apartments. The family says Starewski didn't live here, but he often slept in his car.
No. Reason I got out here, I saw the car running and there's no registration plate to the vehicle.
I was just about to leave. I had to go home. Get
Cooper was at the complex on an unrelated call, but grew suspicious of Starewski's license plate and stopped to question him.
What's your birthday? I don't have one anymore, sir.
Come on, man. Really?
I am Samson El-Kabid Mudamir. That is my name.
Samson Al-Kabid. How do you spell
In the
that?
8 minutes of body cam footage we obtained, the unusual interaction grows more tense.
Oh, I'm not trying to cause no trouble, bro.
But you know, I'm still out, man. You are blowing this way out of proportion.
Bro, you calling another unit?
Yes.
Why?
Because the way you're acting is out of control, isn't it? Yes.
After the officer radios for backup, Starewski tries to get in the car.
You're playing with me, bro.
Hey, bro,
You can't touch me. You cannot touch me.
Chill
You cannot touch me.
A short struggle. Police say the body cam fell off.
I'm trying to sit down, D. It's been a long morning, bro. Please, D. It's been a long morning, D. Bro. D. Why are you doing this to me? D. Why are you doing this to me, dog?
Then, 17 shots fired, and Starewski didn't have a gun. Police say he was hit 8 times.
Why did you make the decision to stop firing, or to start firing? Let's start there.
Based on the fact that he attempted to kill me, he took the knife and stabbed me basically in my chest twice, and
Can you go back just a tad?
Let's see if I can go back just a little bit, guys. Just a second here.
Just click right there behind it a little bit. You don't have to grab it.
I'm trying to click it, and it's not gonna go back.
It's okay. Go ahead and see.
Well, let me see if I can get you there. No, it ain't going to. Sorry.
to stop him from hurting anybody else, being that he's still armed with the same weapon that he tried to kill me with, and he was attempting to flee into the public. I had to make a decision to stop him at that time.
You can't believe it. It's like there's no way. This is not real. It's not real. There's no. How can he be dead?
The family refutes the claim that Starewski stabbed the officer with a knife, despite the cuts in his uniform, saying,
"There you go."
They're saying that he had that knife.
Mm.
You CSI people out there, they're saying that he's got a couple of, I don't know the case. I'm just, again, everything is a conspiracy to me. And if you're a decent investigator, you want to look at everything like that so you can look at it from every angle. But we're to believe that that fella got that knife, made a couple of jabs in that officer's shirt. Now, guys, I'm a retired police officer. I'm not down on police officers. I'm with the truth.
Right.
Let's go with the truth. Let's go with the investigation. We're to believe that that fella got that knife, stabbed that officer a couple of times, cut his shirt, put the knife back in the car and then shot the glass out in the shootout because there's glass on top of that knife. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but there's glass particles on top of that knife. That knife has got a pill bottle or something,
Might be like a soup can
some
or
kind of a hat
spaghetti or
something over top of it.
mm-hmm.
Anything's possible. We've seen things happen that hard to explain. It looks like some kind of a hat, like a Shriner's hat or something with little fringes off the back of it. A red velvet Shriner's hat with some fringes.
You see the little black tassel laying there.
Thank
yeah.
you, babe.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the knife. I'm curious about the glass on it. I'm curious about it being back in the car after they were outside wrestling.
Mm. He didn't have anything in his hand.
Or did they, talking hypothetical, again, our YouTube channels are hypothetical. They're questionable. They're allegations. They're speculation. They're our opinion. But are we to believe that after he did all that outside with that knife, then he put that knife back in there and put particles over it? Or are we to believe that maybe when they were searching the car that they run up on his sandwich knife, his butter knife, and wow, it's already here. Be a good time to go ahead, babe.
Here we go.
This knife was found in the car under debris with no blood on the handle after the shooting.
I mean, he could have shot anything. He didn't have to shoot him.
They waited more than 300 days to receive.
I didn't look at that officer. Well, we can't look at him because there's only one officer there at this time, and the camera's aiming out. But I think it would be safe to say that officer's probably got a baton, an expandable baton on him.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that he's probably got pepper spray. We know he's got handcuffs. And I would say that it's safe to say that he's got a taser. He's got a taser. We went from interrogation, standing there talking to him. We've already called for backup. So we sense that this could go south. He's not acting right. He's nervous. You can see that.
Yeah.
Is he nervous because he's homeless? Is he nervous because he's got warrants on him for unpaid tickets or something? Is he a felon? Is he a murderer? I don't know. By now, the officer should have got a check on him, and maybe not where he wasn't given his date of birth or his real name. But would it have been logical that when you seen you were getting ready to fight, that you pull your taser, or that you go for a choke, a headlock,
something less lethal,
some kind less lethal, man to man? Look at this guy standing in front of that door. Now I know size. I can tell you, size don't mean a lot in fighting. It's all in the heart and all in your practice and training. But that's a big old boy. That cop is. That cop was a big old boy. Which so is this fella. He's got some good arms on him. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Received the KSP Critical Incident Response Team report. That wait is common. We found 29 of 58 KSP lethal force investigations remain open from the last 2 years.
Well, if we're honest, no public entities in Kentucky really have the capacity to do the work that they're being asked to do.
Louisville State Representative Attica Scott put forward legislation to create a statewide task force to investigate fatal police encounters, hoping to speed up the process and shore up transparency, as it would have community voices and experts from universities. The bill never got a hearing.
Well, you're asking police to investigate themselves. It needs an outside entity that's going to be more crucial, more critical, ask more questions, and actually come up with decisions that aren't always on the side of law enforcement.
Critical incident.
Very, very smart lady.
Yeah, great.
You know, guys, one reason they wanted to go from cities investigating themselves, two reasons. One is the appearance that maybe they're one-sided, where it's them investigating themselves. Could they be honest? Then they said, well, we can also, the state police, the state of Kentucky has a whole lot more money to prosecute and investigate and research and legal fees than each of the little cities in Kentucky. So along with them assuming the investigation boundaries and stuff, they're also assuming the responsibility. If something's wrong, then you have to go through the state to sue or whatever. They have a whole lot more money than some of these small municipalities. This lady's correct. Mm-hmm. See, like right now in London, Kentucky, they have got a investigation going on that shouldn't only involve the state police. The London PD should be involved in it. It's their agency. But also some civilians. In each community, they should be at least 2 community leaders, not necessarily on the same side. And that's not hard to find in London. I've only seen a couple of their city council meetings, and I worked for 30-some years for city. I worked in counties, like sheriff's departments, but I also worked in cities. And again, I worked for, I think it was 8 mayors during the time I worked for cities. In fact, Sheila, I think it was 160 or so city council members over the years that would rotate out or new ones would come in. Sheila was on the city council I worked for at one time. She sat on the city council where I was the police chief.
Yeah.
But we need people, civilians, to also look at this stuff before it's presented to the Commonwealth Attorney or the grand jury and so forth. Ministers in the community, political leaders.
That's a great idea.
Of course, that's the way it should be. It's the way it should have been on Johnny Edrington. Had Johnny Edrington's case been like that, it went 36 years later, and then a man write a book and say it was a S side instead of a homicide. And the people that was investigating it was saying it was S side, and none of the people that saw, none of the witnesses that observed anything was ever even interviewed because they had this preconceived notion for some odd reason that it was a suicide. Now here we are 36 years later, and the state police, as proud as they are about solving crimes and investigating crimes, they've swept this one into a filing cabinet or a safe under lock and key. Why? Does that not raise anybody's curiosity?
Is his case the only one that's under lock and key?
As far as we know. As far as we know. I don't know who, with the state police and what we found out since we found Joseph Couch and the way that lies were told. I'm not going to say fibs, or I'm not going to say just straight out lies. Then it really makes a person wonder. And then you've got a book that's written 35 years later, and a trooper of 30 years, post commander, says that he knew it was one way, but they called it another, and they worked around it, and they did this and that, but yet he never went to the media. He never went to the feds. He never went to anybody else. He didn't want to rock the boat until he got that 30 years and that retirement check. And then, okay, I think I'll tell about it now. And when he told about it, and we start investigating it and start talking to people, we find out that no, it's not a suicide. It's a homicide.
We've been contacted by a lot of people.
He was killed. By who? It's a good question. Let's go on with this story.
Okay.
Response team formed in 2017 to investigate officer-involved shootings, in-custody deaths, and fatal collisions involving officers, both internally for KSP and at the request of police departments throughout the state.
I think it's one of the best things we ever did while we were there.
Alex Payne was deputy commissioner, the second highest ranking official in state police at the time.
Creating things like accuracy, transparency, professionalism in one of the most critical incidents that a police officer and those other folks that would be involved in something like that would ever be in their lives.
Data shows a steady increase in these cases in recent years. The number of detectives also on the rise, from 6 when the unit formed to 15 today. Payne says the extended time it takes to complete these cases ties back to the detail put into the investigation.
Massive collection of factual data.
And analyzing it all may be the holdup.
We've got to wait on that evidence to be analyzed and
then factual data. I would like to see, and anybody out there, especially that family that's grieving for that young man.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm not saying sometimes police officers have to use deadly force. I'm not saying we have to fight. It happens. Sometimes we have to.
Right.
But I would like to see how that case was called. I would like to see the case report on that knife that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And see why there's glass on it, see why it's still laying in the seat covered up with that hat. That'd be some explanation as to, because as this trooper was questioning this officer, it sounded like he was a little bit leading to me. And then it sounded like it was the officer. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's a good thing to say. If you're ever involved in a shooting, you're ever involved in a death, I thought I was going to die. I thought he was going to kill me. That's textbook. You want to express your fear for your life, that you felt you was in imminent danger of serious physical injury or death. Maybe that officer was. Maybe he was. But he had several other different tools there from what we seen on that camera before they went hand to hand. He's got several different tools on his belt. Somebody asked me one time, said, why do you carry so much stuff on your belt for?
What was your response?
Well, my response is, do you ever see a carpenter? Look at that tool belt a carpenter's got. Tape measure. Hammer. Nails. Nail bag.
Mm-hmm.
Screwdrivers. All kinds of different things that he's got in his. Now they got the pocket for the drill, the battery operated drill. Why, if a carpenter goes to do a job and gets up on the roof to do something, he ain't got his tools with him. See, as a policeman, you don't have the opportunity to say, wait a minute, I can see right now you're wanting to fight. You're wanting to resist. I'm going to run back to my car and get my taser, or I'm going to go get my pepper spray or my collapsible baton. You don't have time for that. You've got to have the stuff with you.
Handy.
But since that officer had it with him there,
mm-hmm.
that guy might be alive today had he pulled out a taser instead of a bang bang. Had he pulled out a baton. We don't know. We didn't investigate it, but
no.
That knife, I don't believe, was out of that car and then put back with glass on it.
Not according to the pictures they took.
My opinion.
Come back and see if that analytical response, how it fits into the case, into the facts that we're collecting. You, in the same time, you've got to work with a Commonwealth Attorney's Office, who, just like a lot of people, are short-staffed.
WDRB obtained the investigative file from the Staruski case. It contained thousands of pages of documents, hundreds of pictures, and several hours of witness interviews and body and dash cam footage.
I'm not trying to call, please.
Was less lethal ever an option, whether it be a taser, pepper spray, anything like that? Was that ever an option?
No, sir. They produced something that I felt he was attempting to kill me with.
Prosecutors presented the case to a grand jury. No charges.
You don't trust the investigation. You don't trust institutions.
Never. Like, you really can't sit here and tell me your reason. Like, it's not gonna hold no weight, especially for me. Like, you emptied the clip, reloaded.
The family now asking federal investigators to re-examine this case. They've also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Cooper.
You could never convince me that deadly force was to be used in this case.
With photographer Darius Bowie, Gilbert Corsi, WDRB News.
The current commissioner of KSP would not sit down with us for an on-camera interview for this report. He released a statement saying
the current commissioner of the state police would not sit down for an interview. Of course he won't. Of course he won't. If he can stand in front of a camera and pat himself on the back, he'll do it all day long. But if you're going to confront him with money that was spent for training, for any kind of questioning, he's not going to sit down. That's Philip Barnett Jr. That is the commissioner of the Kentucky State Police here in Kentucky today. If you'll go to Fred McCoy 40, my YouTube channel, what's her grin? She helps me set it up and stuff. If you'll go to that and look at video number 2, you'll see a video on Commissioner Burnett. Watch the video. Watch what a trooper. Watch what a man.
So this was when he was a trooper.
Well, he's still a trooper. He's just a
trooper.
He's the head trooper.
Right. He wasn't a commissioner.
A road trooper.
Right.
He was a lieutenant.
Whatever you call it then, yeah.
He was a lieutenant when he did that. He arrested a man for contempt of cop, disorderly conduct, or menacing to cops. That's contempt of cop. For somebody that does something that you don't agree with and you need a charge to put on them. And the county attorney looked at the video. He didn't know he was being videotaped. The guy had the video.
He was on his own property though, right?
Yeah. And he arrested him for pointing his finger at the trooper. And the trooper, Barnett, pointed his finger at him and took him to jail. Just going to arrest you. They dropped charges on it. He filed a lawsuit. But that's the commissioner of the state police today. That's what we've got leading our troopers today. That's what we've got leading this command unit, this critical command team. And I don't put a lot of trust in them. Don't put a lot of, guys, a grand jury. We talked about it on one of our videos. A grand jury can only do as much as the Commonwealth attorney allows them to do or tells them they can do.
Well, what's the point of having a grand jury?
It's just part of a legal system that's set up that it's better than most. Our system of government, our system of law, and we've got to have police. We've got to have criminal justice system. I'm not a sovereign citizen. I'm a 40-year career police officer that has seen a lot of things, and I see a lot of things happening today that could be differently. We take human life so lightly anymore. I know some of these people as a cop. I know some of these guys would fight. I know some of these guys would, and if they're shooting or something, you have no choice. You've got to shoot back.
Exactly.
And in this predicament here, this was a huge police officer, looked like, could take care of himself. But if we're going to grab a gun at we got to feel more confident in our abilities to fight. We got to feel more confident in our own skills before we take on. He's already called for backup, so he was already getting worried that he might have to. He's going to have an issue here, and that's great. He's already called for backup. He's got them en route. That's great. Too bad they couldn't have got there sooner, but. Was he calling because he was concerned, or was he calling because he got scared?
Thing about it is that gentleman didn't have that knife on his persons at that time. He was away from when you
allegedly,
see
you're saying
allegedly, yeah. Okay, allegedly.
Okay.
When you see the diagram of where all the shots were, whatever.
Yeah.
He wasn't even in the car. He was out away from the car.
Exactly.
And that was laying in the seat in the car.
Yeah, that's not hard.
And they didn't show a picture of anything else around.
Here's your credibility. Look at the report and see what the report says. Does it say this knife was here, here, and here, and then I put it back in the car? Well, if you put it back why would you put it back in the car for? And why would you put glass on top of it? Or did you put it back in the car and then shoot the windows out?
Ooh.
There's no there's certain things that investigators and hopefully the family, the guys, I don't care if the policeman's correct and he's honest and everything happened like he says he did, then that's the way it happened. But we can't always take everybody at their word without investigating anymore. People do tend to not tell the truth. Go ahead and finish this one up, Punk. I'm done.
All righty.
Every day, the men and women in our agency work tirelessly to provide public safety for Kentuckians. As KSP's commissioner, I am committed to protecting the integrity of all investigations, interactions with the public, and our state officials as we conduct law enforcement in the right way.
Yeah. Knows all about integrity. That man does. Watch his videos. Watch where he arrested the guy. Watch his deposition where some of the or at least one, I think there's more than one, but one of the state troopers filed suit against him. There's been all kinds of questions. Watch his depositions. Thomas A. Clay, I believe, was the attorney for the people filing the suit, and outstanding attorney in Louisville. People in London and Laurel County, this is what you've got. This group here is going to investigate Doug Harless's death, and they're going to turn in a big report. They're going to have great pictures. They're going to have great typed up. There's going to be so much. It's going to be like those bills that they give to Congress when they bring them big books in there and say, let's vote on it. They say, ain't read it yet. And they say, sign it. You can read it later. Or they bring in thousands and thousands of pages and they're going to vote on it the next morning. No way to read it. And, that old saying, when you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullcrap or whatever. And it's going to be a beautiful report. What's it going to say in it?
Yeah.
What's it going to say? Grand jury, what can you look at it and tear it apart? And if the state police wants to hold, and guys, I don't care if there's anybody held, if nobody done nothing wrong, then we don't want them to set nobody up.
Right. Evidently,
but something was done wrong here, and it makes it look even worse when they've hid the affidavits for their search warrant and different things.
Yeah. Can this family here, I don't know, appeal what was given, or is it just
they have filed a civil action. They filed
so they'll bring it all back out again.
Well, that'd be in civil court, but they've also asked for the feds to come in until Patel comes in there. I don't have much faith in what the feds are going to. Yeah.
Okay.
It's sad what's happened to our law enforcement agencies. It's sad that they got political on us. Lost all respect.
Chances are, then this is just me talking. Since they found this police officer not guilty, chances are they won't win the lawsuit.
We don't know. I never did hear a determination. Did you?
He said he wasn't charged. I think during the grand jury, he said he wasn't charged.
You're right. I remember hearing that now. So, yeah. And again, they go by the police report. They go by this right here, what these guys, but they don't have to. A grand jury doesn't have to do that. A grand jury, there's 12 of them there.
Okay.
They can set, if it takes 6 months for that grand jury to sit and go over this with these investigators and say, what happened here? What happened to the address? When was this changed? When was that changed? Where's his driver's license at? Just like you say, good questions.
When did
he get his electric bill out? Where did the packages from Amazon, from UPS come? Where did he buy this gun from that he supposedly had? How long had he had this gun?
What about the
witnesses that said they sold him this gun? What about the camera that's on the porch? We want to see the camera. We want to see how many officers entered that house. We want to see, was it the first guy? We assume that the first guy in the point,
the lead
guy is the one that shot. Is he? You know what would be bad if the lead guy didn't shoot Doug Harless. But the second guy or the third guy, they're in a group. They're going in together. What if the lead guy, that's the front man, that's the one that's in most danger, but he didn't shoot, but the guy behind him shot? Is that Sky Trigger happy? Why didn't the other 3 or 4 that's in that line? I'm assuming that's what it was. I'm not there. But that camera on that porch will tell it.
It'll tell it. As they took his phone and that. So
the grand jury will hold their, hey, investigate it. Investigate it like it's a member of your family, grand jury, because that's where it's headed. All you people in London that's waiting for some people to talk to you and tell you this, they're not going to tell you nothing. They're going to put it to the grand jury, and the grand jury is going to be the ones left holding the bag. If there's something done wrong there and the police can cover it up, then it ain't on the police. It ain't on the police. It's on the grand jury. They can say, well, guys, all we done was gave the evidence to the grand jury. They're the ones that came back with the no true bill. The grand jury, when they come out of this grand jury, if it's a no true bill and it's legit, then fine. That's what it is. We'll have to accept it, or they will. If somebody's covering for something, or there's negligence or carelessness or recklessness, then somebody has to be held accountable. And if they're not held accountable, then it goes back to the grand jury. They're the ones that's, because the state police are going to say, guys, all we done is investigated it. We presented it to the grand jury, and it was up to them.
They made the final decision.
So,
whatever, yeah.
Ever who's on that grand jury's got a lot of responsibility. And hopefully they'll treat it as such.
I hope so.
All I want's the truth. Let's don't wake up 35 years from now like we did with Doug Asher's book. Let's don't wake up 35 years from now and one of those officers that's there happened to have one of them little ink pens with a camera. One of them little ink pens I've got somewhere around here with a camera in it.
Got it over there.
Or a pair of those glasses with a camera here in the middle. Let's don't wake up in 35 years and somebody writes a book and says I was on the team that went in to serve the warrant. Here's what happened. He was unarmed. He was laying on the couch. He was this. He was that. And then there it is. And all these years, people was led to believe something else. Just like on Johnny Edgerton, everybody was led to believe that it was a homicide. When Doug Asher and his group says it was a S side. I used to believe for years and years that it was S side. That's what I believed.
Right.
Until Sheila and I started making these videos and these people started calling us. And we say, did you talk to the state police 36 years ago? What'd they say when they come and talk? They never did come.
They didn't, yeah.
They never come and talk to me. I never talked to the first investigator. I made the phone call. I told them this. I told not the first detective come.
They've said that.
Wow. Makes you think it was a homicide. Maybe Frankfurt knew something more. Maybe they didn't want to get to the bottom of it, but they knew that it was more than a S side.
Well, if they don't stop it now, it's just going to be repeated over, and over and over and over.
On Johnny?
On anything like this, that they're not being transparent on and stuff, and then people
they're
being
not transparent, babe. That agency right there has lost all faith with Barnett, Philip Barnett in charge, and some of the understaff that he's got. It's contaminated, and it's all about politics. It's all about looking good. It's all about It's all about.
Well, if the grand jury doesn't come to a unanimous decision on this being one way or the other, then I mean they're free to do whatever again. Basically, it's what if they don't put a stop to it and let them know that they're going to hold them accountable for stuff like this. So,
Thanks, guys.
all right. Thanks for watching, guys.
This is our 2 cents.
Exactly.
This is our opinion. This is our speculations. We sit here and we go to London. We go out and look at the places and see. Again, not hard to see a single wide from a double wide.
Right.
Not hard to see left from right. Not hard to see tan from gray. Not hard to see lake in front of you or the lake behind you. It's not hard to see a big porch on the front or small steps on the front of the other one. We've seen no description.
Nope.
A lot of questions.
Definitely.
And they can blame it. They can say we didn't want to put it out. We didn't want to That's not contaminating an investigation. Contaminating an investigation is if you have a crime and somebody has been killed and you don't know who killed them. You don't want nobody to know how they were killed, where they were found,
right?
What kind of caliber bullet they were shot with, who was that? We know all that. We know there was only 5 shots. Well, only 5. 5 was plenty. 5 shots sound like the same gun. So there's only one caliber used.
Right.
Whose gun was that? We know who was there. You keep secrets like that. So in case you ever come up and you get a copycat or you get somebody that's mentally deranged and they come in and say, hey, I was the one killed John F. Kennedy. Okay. What caliber gun was he shot with? Where was you at? Tell us some inside information that only you would know. That's why you wouldn't want your material out. In a case like this, a search warrant affidavit that's supposed to be stored at the clerk's office when they go to serve the search warrant, the actual search warrant, the affidavit is left there, but we can't even see the affidavit. That has no bearing. How much transparency is that?
No worries.
You better close this out.
Okay. We hope y'all have a good night, guys. Stay warm. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, guys.
God bless. Don't forget to go to Fred's page too, by the way, guys.
If you want to see some good videos, go over to Fred McCoy 40.
That's right. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.